I know that y'all consume a ton of American news because we're right there, and we're pretty loud about it. So I know y'all saw the mugshot and everything. And sure. I was fascinated by that day, but not by him, not by Trump. Most fascinating person to me in that whole day, because Trump went in, turned himself in, and he had a lot of co-defendants, like 10 plus co-defendants that also had turned themselves in that day, take their mug shot, everything. But the person that I'm the most fascinated by is this dude named Harrison Floyd. Right? Now, Harrison Floyd is one of the co-defendants with Trump, and he's the only one out of all those people that did not get a bond agreement, right? He had to sit in jail until he could see a judge. He's also the only one out of all those people that is black. I should also point out, he's also the only one out of all those people that allegedly assaulted the FBI agent that tried to serve him his subpoena, all right? So basically, this dude had to sit in jail because he tried to fight mail, okay? So basically what happens is, FBI show up at the door, try to give him his subpoena. He went for the FBI agent's gun, all right? Then he later admitted to police, if he had got the gun, he would have shot the FBI agent and killed him. He also admitted to police that if he had known it was the FBI at the door, he would have brought his gun and shot him and killed him. All right? That's what we like to call a thought. All right? What was he thinking? Never in the history of niggerdom has a nigga been this dumb. This is the most insane thing I've seen in a long time. He must have forgot he was black. What could possibly be going through your head? That was so insane. It was so crazy. It even made me feel bad for Trump for a second. Because how does he not have one single normal black fan? Every time one of his fans that's black makes the news is always going through something, It's terrible. Trump has a reputation as a racist, and he always talking about how he's the least racist person you could ever be. I don't know. After this, I'm inclined to maybe believe him. He be hanging out with the black people I would never hang out with. That's like, truly, I don't know. This dude like a Statue of Liberty for wayward niggas. This is astounding. He's just standing like, bring me your ashy, your dusty, your dumbass masses. The story was so crazy, I'm not gonna lie, I even felt bad for FBI agent. I never thought I'd say that in my life. I even felt bad for the FBI agent, because if somebody goes for your gun for a split second, you gotta think they going for your dick. You gotta be like... I had this popped in my head out of nowhere. I had this date years ago where we both admitted to each other on the date that for both of us it was our first date in a year. And it was really great. That was such a great thing for us to share, because then we both knew in that moment we were about to be trash. Like, this was... Neither one of us are getting each other's best. We're very rusty. And it actually ended up being a great date. Like, it was a great little hangout. We were getting along wonderfully. The vibe was not there, right? We weren't clicking in that way. But we were like, no, this is like, it's just great to spend time with a cool person, you know? And so at the end of the day, it was like a non-verbal thing. It was just a thing that we were both thinking. We just went ahead and we gave it a shot. Just one kiss, just to see. Because we've been getting along great for 3 hours. What if there's a spark, you know? You don't want to miss out on that. And I should mention that she's not just a lovely person, wonderful human. She also has the biggest hands of anyone I've ever met in my life. Her hands were huge, okay? And I'm not coming down on her hands, because I don't know if you noticed my hands since I've been up here, but I could use some more manly digits. These are not the hands I would have picked if they had been handing out hands. These are piano fingers at best. I was jealous of her hands the whole day. We went to an arcade and we were playing whack-a-mole and she was using the mallet and her hands. She was like, her hands were so strong, she accidentally opened a locked door. Bathroom door was locked. Somebody was in there. She didn't know. She just twisted it. And we all heard the pop. It was a pop because she broke the lock. She has a locksmith right here. They just popped right and opened it. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what I mean? Spent the whole day jealous of those hands. And so we went to kiss, right? And as we went to kiss, I felt something. I felt something up. I felt something up the back of my head. And I realized it was her hand. She was cupping the back of my head with her hand. I've never been cupped before. I didn't even know that was a move people were doing in real life. Like, and if you were far away, it must have looked like my whole head fit in her hand. It must look like she was cupping a baby in her hand. And then I could feel this. I could feel this pressure from her kiss that was knocking me off balance a little bit. And that's when I realized, I'm like, wait, this bitch trying to dip me. I started fighting the dip. I was like, you ain't gonna dip me. You ain't gonna dip me. I'm a man, you ain't gonna dip me. Because think about it, if we have this kiss and there's a spark and we start going out, you gotta establish parameters early. If you let her dip you on the first kiss, the first time y'all smash, your legs will be in the air, bro. That's just the law. She already established dominance, all right? And so I'm fighting. I'm like, you ain't gonna dip me. You ain't gonna dip me. I ain't going. I'm sure I gave her the worst kiss of her life because my core was on fire. So I'm sure I was kissing just like. I don't know. In those moments of the kiss couldn't have been more than like 8 seconds, but a lot was going on. You know what I mean? And like, I don't know. In that kiss, I kind of felt, at least what I imagined, like I almost feel like I felt like a woman for a second, because I was like, you know what I mean? Because I was like safe but in danger. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like she had me, but she might take me. You know? How's doing? Hey, yeah. I'm gonna tell you a story. I got invited to a party, which was big for me. Okay, I don't get invited to a lot of parties. All right, I get there. I didn't know there would be hard drugs at this party. You know, and like I don't judge or anything. It's just that someone offered me heroin. Right? Like, here's the hierarchy for me, is that, like, weed, everybody understands weed. Whatever, you know what I mean? Cocaine, you're living on the edge. Crack, you've made a mistake. But no one doing heroin has a 5-year plan. No one, okay? If you do heroin, you either play the guitar really well or you just have a lot of feelings. I don't know what to say about you. So he offered me heroin like it was normal, and I didn't want to not seem cool, but I didn't want to take the heroin. And so he passed it to me, and I was like, no thanks, man. I am stuffed. I could not have any more heroin today. I have had my fill. I am good. Thank you. I live in New York now. I moved to New York from Chicago, and I wasn't ready. Lots of things I was not ready for. One was the rats. I don't know if you guys have rats here, but no one has rats like New York because the rest of the world's rats have shame. I saw a rat inside, all right, and he saw me see him, and instead of scurrying away, he was just like, "What's up, dog?" Like, that's... What is that? What is the... And I'm 800 times bigger than him. I could step on him and kill him. And he was like, "But you won't, though." Like, that, I'd never been more scared. I saw... My friend got a cat, and was like, "It's so great. She eats all the, she eats little roaches. She might even get after a rat." The cat was scared of the rat. The cat was like, "I'm fine. I'm gonna get on this ledge and wait for him to leave, all right?" It was devastating. The other thing I wasn't ready for was the third graders. I don't know what it is about being born and raised in Brooklyn or the Bronx that makes you such a natural bully, but they're monsters, okay? They're little terrorists, all right? I'm more scared of third graders now than I was in third grade. I actually asked to get off work early so I could make sure I was in my house when they got out of school because I didn't want to run into them anymore. They're little monsters. Like, I was just walking down the street and one was like, "Hey, hey." First of all, too much bass for a third grader, all right? I turned around, almost called him sir by accident. I didn't know who was talking to me. I turned, he's like, "Hey, what's up, bird shoulders?" I don't know what that means. But I went home and cried afterward. You ever have someone make fun of you and you don't even get it, but it hits such a core part of who you are that you get hurt anyway? Like, I was sitting, my body hasn't changed since it happened. I probably still have bird shoulder. I have no idea what it is. I have a lot of fears since I'm little, you know. I'm scared of a lot of things. My biggest fear above like rats or third graders or anything else is just finding a dead white girl. In fact, I think that's why there's no black ghost hunters, because we don't want to come in a room and just... I'm too black to just find her. There's gonna be an investigation. There's gonna be leads, okay? People are gonna be calling in. They're gonna use a picture of me on the news. It's not gonna be a good one. It's not gonna be a picture with me looking like the first picture day or something. It's gonna be me stubbing my toe like... And you're gonna see that on the news and be like, "He did it, look at him." Who smiles bottom teeth first? He is a murderer. In fact, I'm so scared that I would walk in, see her dead, scream, someone runs and be like, "What did you do?" No, that was my scream. That was not her. I know it's hard to believe, but I screamed the way she would have screamed had this been me to her, but please don't. Okay, I'll go to jail now, and I won't last. I had to take a flight. Another fear that's creeping towards the top of the list is tiny planes. You know? I had to take a tiny plane. I didn't think it would be a big deal. It only seated 8 people. It's the tiniest plane I've ever been on. And it was so small that there was no cockpit. So I could see the captain and the co-pilot. I could hear both of them. At one point during the flight, the captain was like, "Whoa!" I was like, What? Oh my God, what? "No, don't act like I can't hear you, sir. We're talking right now, okay? Do I need to get up and head? Don't tell me to sit down. I can't stand up. The plane's not that big." And I should have known something was wrong because I got to the gate and they wanted to weigh my carry-ons. Which never happens. But I was like, fine, backpack's 13 pounds, laptop's 4 pounds with the case. And then they were like, "How much do you weigh?" And I was like, "How small is the plane?" how small is the plane? You need to know my 125-pound body weighs 125 pounds. And then I get to the plane, I'm like, that makes sense. Okay, fair enough. It's the smallest plane I've ever been on. And like, it took, like this plane, I know it's not nice, I know it's not kind, but like, I was the youngest person on this flight by far. Everyone else was 80 and up. So a real thought I had on the flight was, this is heaven's waiting room. I gotta get out of here. This is terrible. She already looked dead. And her soul just had to step out to get to heaven. I don't wanna be up here with people dying. And you know that overhead compartment that's supposed to drop an air mask if there's too much turbulence? That's not there at all. It's just little Bibles fall out because you're gonna die. So you might as well get a verse in or something. You're dead, okay? It was terrible. And like, we were flying, and like, I was having these heart palpitations and everything. I didn't know if I would last or anything. And then I don't know how planes work, okay? I can't pretend, I'm not a genius, all right? But at least the big planes take off right away. It took this little plane so long to take off, I thought we were gonna drive there. This plane is actually leaving the ground and coming back down, and leaving the ground and coming back down, to the point where I looked at the pilot and I was like, do we all need to jump at the same time? What's gonna keep me in the air? I just wanna get to the place, please. Guys, I'm Josh Johnson. Thanks so much. You have a great night. Appreciate it.